Have you ever heard of me? Well, now you have. My name is Nick Shell, and I am the Manly Vegan. There's no other Manly Vegan. I am the Manly Vegan. I embrace it. I'm knowledgeable. I'm experienced. Today, you're watching this video because you know that on Google autofill, if you type in "do vegans eat," what's the first thing that pops up? When I did that, honey was the question. Do vegans eat honey? So we're going to talk about that. My answer to you is it's a gray area. I guess a really hardcore vegan, which I consider myself to be one, but I guess if you were 110% vegan, you're not going to eat honey. As for me, let me go ahead and say where I stand on it. With it being a gray area, I will eat honey. I don't necessarily go out and seek it, but it is in some things I eat, and I'm okay with it. Because for me being a vegan has everything to do with consuming a less than 0% cholesterol a day. As much fat as you eat from plant-based diet or whatever, from a vegan diet, you can't ever reach 1%. It's scientifically impossible from everything I've ever been able to study on it. But you just turn over the label, turn on your peanut butter, look at all that fat, you still got 0% cholesterol. And honey falls into that category because I've never seen honey with fat in it. So for me, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, another reason it's a gray area, aside from it technically being, from an animal, or actually being from an animal, a byproduct, is that it's sugar. And that's one of my things. I made that video that you saw where it says, "Why are vegans fat?" which is another Google autofill thing. I didn't make that question up, but I said eating too much oil, eating too much sugar, and not exercising. Well, honey is kind of like sugar. It's going to change the metabolism, the way food processes, and all that stuff. So that's another reason I try to stay away from honey. But if it's in something, I'll eat it. If it's in bread, the funny thing is I don't eat a lot of stuff that would have honey in it to begin with, because bread tends to have it in it, cereal. I just don't eat a lot of stuff with it typically. But as far as the main reason, though, it's a gray area for vegans, is because you can Google this as much as you want, but the truth is, if you're asking, is honey bee vomit? The easiest way to answer that question is yes. My best understanding is honey is actually regurgitated nectar from bees. They're regurgitating this honey. Is it being fully digested in their digestive tract? Not exactly, because something about they have to eat each other's regurgitated liquids to process and digest it, so their digestion tract is different. But if you're asking, does honey come from, is it because a bee drinks the nectar, goes down their throat, and comes back up? Is that vomit? You tell me. Either way, clearly, even though it's not from an animal, it is from an insect, and it's coming from the insides. Clearly, an insect is required to make the honey that we eat. So I totally get it why vegans don't eat honey. It's just, for me, I've been a vegan for 3.5 years, or actually over that now, and I've been strict. I don't want to consume dairy or anything like that, or meat. So the honey thing, though, it is a gray area. It doesn't affect my cholesterol, and I don't consume it a lot anyway. So it just depends on the vegan what they would say. I still consider myself strict, but then I guess someone who's so strict they won't do honey would say the same thing. And there's other gray areas, like, for example, what if you are taking I'm just trying to think of an ironic example, a B12 supplement in the form of a capsule. Well, the capsule, you would have to check to make sure the capsule is not made from gelatin, because what's gelatin? You know this, and you know I'm not making this up. Gelatin is basically made from the bones of pig and cow bones. When they slaughter those animals, they got to do something with the bones. And just think about when you have your Thanksgiving dinner. Well, the next day, that leftover turkey has all that jelly around it. That's what it is. It comes out of the bones, and they make jelly out of it, and Jello and gelatin. Well, that's what they make the pills out of. So that's another kind of a gray area. But I'm not really into supplements, because I should be eating the right things to begin with, is what I keep saying. So here's your answer. Do vegans eat honey? Some do, and I'm one of them. And why is it a gray area? Because an insect is involved, and it's technically almost like it's regurgitated food from the insect. So without that, how would you have honey? And it wouldn't, that's what honey is. But it depends on it depends on your motivation for being a vegan. For me, my motivation is not based on animal rights. It's based on selfish reasons, like me being healthy and not having all the sinus issues I used to have. So, and it's interesting too, because people with sinus and allergy, they've said that if you consume honey regularly, it'll help combat that, which I could believe that because I did that for a while. So, it's one of those things. I feel I'm not a judgmental person. So I'm going to say, look, if you want to be a vegan and eat honey or not eat honey, I don't care. I don't care what other people do. Maybe some people would have the problem that I'm saying that I'm a strict vegan and that I do consume honey. It just depends, because it is a gray area. But you know what? I'm not here to divide people. I'm here to unite people. And I'm uniting us today by helping us understand a little bit more about honey and why it's a gray area for vegans. If you have any questions, other weird questions, that might pop up about the vegan lifestyle, leave a comment. There's a good chance I will make a video in response to it, because I like educating people on this strange lifestyle. Remember, as the manly vegan, I represent less than 0.5% of the American population. I'm rare. There are not male vegans for the most part, and maybe I should do a separate video about that. Actually, I should really do it right now. I wonder if I will.